Good afternoon everyone, Chris here from the agency.io. This is the fourth webinar that I've been doing over the coronavirus lockdown, and today's topic is how to get more sales and bookings from your website. And in this webinar, I'm only going to talk about two things: website design and also website tools are things that you can implement into your website to get more sales. I'm not going to be explaining about how to get more traffic. All this is how to optimize what you've already done on your website to make it even better. So the people that are going on your website or your returning customers that are going to go on your website are going to buy more or going to book more courses, for example. So for the first part of the webinar, I'm going to explain about website design and what you can do to your website to optimize it and make sure you get as many sales from the people who are actually currently on your website and also returning customers as well. And one of the main reasons that websites and companies have a drop in sales or bookings is the fact of the process of somebody buying is too long. If somebody goes onto your website and it takes 5 to 6 clicks to go through and actually buy something, and on each page they have to read information, your sales and bookings are going to drop quite drastically, as well if it goes over 5 or 6 clicks. And the reason for this is because people want something fast. The shorter the sales process, the more sales you will make. And this is exactly the same for bookings as well. So go online and have a look to see if you can cut down your sales process. You want it to be around about 3 to 4 clicks maximum. If your sales process from when somebody lands onto your website to be able to book, and it's about 7, you are going to see a massive decrease in sales. So have a look at that and find out how you can drop it to maybe 3 or 4 clicks maximum on there as well. Another good tip as well is declutter the website, but you've got to be careful when you declutter the website. Many people on websites, they keep adding and adding and adding over the years, but they forget to update it and take down some of the old content that's on there. But you have to be very careful, as I said before, because if you start deleting pages on your website, this could seriously affect the SEO of your website that you have, because you might be ranking on certain keywords on them pages on Google. So when you delete the pages, you're going to drop down in Google on the ranking on the pages, and then you might not get as much traffic through to the website. But it is very important because, as I mentioned before, if you've got a process of maybe 4, 5, 6 clicks to buy, and on every single page there's lots of text, there's lots of videos, there's lots of photos, you're not going to get as many sales as if it was streamlined. Only put the information on there that people need to see. If you're just putting extra information on there, for example, photos that don't need to be on there, you're just going to have a drop in sales and it's going to clutter it up, and less people are actually going to go through and purchase or book on your website. A great tool to use as well is the Google Analytics as well when decluttering the website, because Google Analytics are going to tell you how long someone was on a certain page, where the people came from, the traffic. Did they come from Google? Did they come from Facebook? So you might find that you've got pages on your website that never get visited, or you might find some of your main pages actually only have, people who click onto them pages only stay for 20 seconds, even though it's your main page to sell, for example. So you need to go into Google Analytics, have a look what's happening on each page, because you might find that one of your main pages or your most important page for either bookings or sales, people don't really spend that much time on it due to the fact there's just too much clutter on there and people prefer to go elsewhere. And this is also the same for the sales as well, and bookings of the products or the courses that you're selling, for example, is go through and have a look at the main ones that are selling. If you've got certain services, products, courses, you name it, that you're not selling and you haven't sold in quite a while, it's better to take them off and declutter the website with these products, because all you're doing is adding more mess to the basket, and it's going to be a longer process. Again, if you streamline this and only put the main products on that you're selling well, due to the fact people have got shorter choice, smaller choice, they're going to go through and buy a lot more than if they had to scroll through maybe 100, maybe 200 products. They're going to get bored and they might click off and go to another website. Whereas if you only had 20 of your best ones, well descripted, and everything was in there that they need to know, there's a lot higher chance of them actually going through and buying them products as well. Another very important part of the website to make sure that you keep up to date to is the speed of the website as well. And this relates more to the millennials and the younger generation than the older generation. But you need to make sure that your website is fast. If your website is slow, most people won't even wait for it to load, especially if it takes over 5, 6, 7 seconds to load your website. More than likely, most people are going to click off before they even land on your website. And this can be the same as well on the sales process. When you go through to buying, if it takes a long time to load the buying page, a lot of people will just click off and go away. People just haven't got the patience that they had before. And normally they say that every single second that you wait longer, you take around about a 10% drop in the person actually going through to the page. So make sure, if you're doing it personally, make sure the servers that you're using on your website are up to date and as fast as possible. If you're paying someone, make sure they update your website and it's as fast as possible. If you're going over 3-4 seconds to load a page, this is really, really slow. And if you imagine, if a customer is clicking through 5 or 6 pages when they're shopping and they have to wait 4 or 5 seconds each page to load, more than likely they're going to click off and go to another website, which is a lot faster. This is something that's very overlooked, and people don't actually look into this as much as they should do. But the amount of time that people have to wait for your website seriously affects the bookings and the sales that you have. So make sure it's optimized and as fast as possible as well. But not just for the fact it needs to be fast. Most people nowadays, a lot of people, depending on your market, your niche, what you're doing, will use mobile phones to have a look at your website. And a lot of these older websites that have not been updated are not mobile optimized. So if you go on your mobile or even your tablets as well, it's normally a lot worse on your tablet, is you'll find that the images are wrong, the text is in the wrong place. And if it's not mobile friendly, most people are just going to click off again. Exactly the same with the speed. If it's not mobile friendly and I can't see the text correctly, or the website just doesn't work that well, I can't find the right buttons, more or likely I'm going to click off, I'm going to go to one of your competitors and I'm going to go buy from one of them, which makes it easier. You need to make the whole process as easy as possible to buy. And if on mobile people can't buy, you may be losing 50% of your sales on there due to the fact, most of the people will be like 50% desktop, 50% mobile, and also the tablet as well. A lot of people overlook the tablet because mobile optimization, when it's on there, is not the same that it is on tablet. So be really careful and make sure that your website looks great on desktop, on mobile, and also on tablet as well. And by doing that, you'll see a lot more people stay on your website and buy by using their mobiles. And this is why it's so important to make it so simple and so easy. Another thing as well that you can do as well is add as many like get help or buy buttons on the products. A lot of time I see loads of products and then at the bottom of the website, it will say, buy this or get help. What you want to try and do, if you're explaining about your FAQs, for example, or you've got products on there, always add the buy now or add to basket. Or if there's an issue, if you're talking about a certain product, get help, get in contact us, anything. The more that you put in front of people's faces when they're on your website, if they're scrolling through and there's no buttons to get help or anything like that, more likely they're going to scroll through, remember what your products are, and then go to another website and check them out as well. But if you add a get help now or get in contact button right underneath next to the sales button, a lot of people are actually just going to click it and ask for information straight away. So then you've got contact with that client and you've got more chance of getting a booking from them or getting a sale as well. Because if you've got the sale button on there, a lot of people might just add quite a few things to basket, go through and buy them. But if you didn't have the button on there and it was harder to find on the website, then you're not going to get as many sales. And this may seem very, very simple, but a lot of websites do get it wrong. And when you go on, sometimes it's actually quite difficult to actually find the buy button. Or if you do the buy button, then you go to another process. So make sure that the buttons there are easy to see and in the right places as well. The more buttons, I'm not saying add buttons all over the website, but for a lot of products and for a lot of descriptions, for example, if you think that there's more information needed, add a button in there, get in contact, buy now, and you'll also see a raise in revenue as well from this. So now something to add to the website. I did explain before that you need to declutter the website. A great thing that you can do as well is add videos to your product descriptions. If you add product videos to your product descriptions, normally sales go up around about 60 to 80% due to the fact it's a lot easier, it's more visual, and most people will actually watch the video over reading the actual description on there. So it's a great way to do it as well. You can also use these videos for your YouTube channel, and also on different social media platforms. You can use them as highlights, for example, on Instagram. So a great thing to do is get yourself on camera, explain exactly what the product is, what it does, what the booking is, what the day experience is, for example, in the hair salon, or if you're horse riding, explain exactly what it is in a nice manner as well. And if you explain, for example, you're the owner, when people are actually watching this, they're going to have an instant connection who you are. They're going to understand a little bit more about the brand. And with having a video, it's going to make them relax a lot more than just reading a description of text. So this is a great thing to do. Get on the camera, make some videos about your products. And also as well, include the search bar at the top of the website. I didn't know about this before, but when we went into the clothing niche, a lot of companies are doing this, and it's also a great way for people to cut the sales process down, as I was explaining before. If somebody might find it difficult to find a certain product online, they might not end up buying it. But if you add a search bar in where they can search anything on the website and it goes instantly to that product or that page, you're going to shorten the sales process. You're going to make more sales as well. And this is fantastic. You need to add a search bar in the top right hand corner if it's applicable to your website. If you've only got a one-page website with not too many products, then it's not that important. But if you do have a lot of clothing products, a lot of courses, or if you've just got a website, for example, for tech or chemicals, and you've got a lot of different parts and explain a lot of different products or a lot of different things that you do, add a search bar in there. Because if it's so much information on your website, people want to find it fast, and this is the best way. They type it in there, boom, go straight to the page, and that's it. So we've kind of what I wanted to explain about this whole website thing and website design is you've just got to make it as easy and simple as possible. If you make your website difficult, or for example, if a developer has designed your website but you've not had a normal customer use your website, it's probably going to be too complicated, and the normal Joe in the street is not going to understand exactly how to use it. So what we always do with all our companies, and I recommend all our clients to do it, is when a website has been designed or being designed, or when you're updating anything, get someone who's not tech savvy to use it. I'm being honest here, get your grandmother, get your grandfather, get your children to use the website. If a child or your grandmother can't use the website, can't figure out how to buy, then most likely a lot of people aren't going to realize that as well. And you're just going to broaden your market. If you make it easy and the steps are fast to buy, you're going to see your revenue go up, rather than if it's a complicated website, because no one wants to really go through, and if it's a complicated website, they're going to lose faith in the company. So for the next part of the webinar, I'm going to explain about a couple of tools that you can use on your website to really get the most money out of your clients and keep them engaged on your website and coming up back as well for more. And the first thing is Albatross. Now, Albatross is a great piece of tech that you can install into all of your websites. And what it does, it tells you who has been on your website, where they have been on your website, and also the contact information as well. This may not really be applicable for most B2C companies, but it is applicable to anyone who's selling to B2B. And the reason for this is because it won't pick up any random person from their home. It will only pick up companies. So it'll pick up, say, for example, let's use a bank. HSBC has been on your website. They're on this page, they're on this page, they're on this page. Then it will also give you the contact information of the people in that company as well. Obviously, if it's a huge bank, you're not going to get the CEO's mobile number. It doesn't work like that. But you will get someone in the company that you can contact with. And this is a great way to follow up, because also as well, it's a little bit of a warmer lead, because they're probably, most of them who have contacted or you're going to contact already know who your brand are. So when you get in contact with them, it's going to be a lot easier process to close the deal as well. So this is a great one. It's Albatross. I really recommend setting it up on all of your websites. Another thing as well, which you do have to be careful on, is pop-ups. Pop-ups and also games as well that you can add on when you first go up. There's nothing more annoying than a pop-up that pops up after every 5 seconds on every single page you go. So you need to make sure of the information of the time that you set in there is correct. But it can work really well if you want to do certain offers, or if you want people to sign up, after 10 seconds, for example, it might pop up and say, hey, sign up and get a free audiobook. I don't know, something like that. But by adding a pop-up, you're going to get a lot more registrations, and you're going to get the information or the message across to the people on your website a lot better. But just be careful. You can do a lot of the settings. If you're doing one to register, make sure when somebody registers that when they go back to the website, the pop-up doesn't keep coming up, because it's only going to annoy them in the long run. And you can do this all in the settings. Another thing that you can do as well is games and like Ferris wheels and stuff like that. So when people go onto your website, you can add a little game in there. So you could either have a Ferris wheel, when you touch it, a roulette wheel, and they get 5% off, 10% off, or a free product for a certain month. Most people actually go through and do this rather than entering their email in just a pop-up. And it can be exactly the same outcome. You can have one as a game when people go through, enter their email address, and then they have a chance to win 5% off, for example, rather than the pop-up just saying sign up. We try it on all, and we A/B test on all of our websites, and normally using the games gets around about a 40 to 30% increase on signups, due to the fact of you're giving something back to the person, and it's also a game, it's a competition. People like competition, people like to win. So have a look at that. It's a very good thing to add on to your website as well, and makes it a little bit more fun when people get on there. Another very, very important thing to do now is, as you know, email marketing is quite difficult, and if you want to do flash offers or you want to do anything, sometimes it can be difficult to get that information across to your clients fast. And the best way to do this is push notifications and also alerts on the website. There's multiple companies that do push notifications. Type it into Google, you can find them all there. And the way it is if you get a message, for example, from WhatsApp, if you have a look at your phone, you can see the WhatsApp icon, and then you can also see, the person's name and the text, etc. And this is the case for most, chat websites and stuff like that. But you can also do it for your website as well. So if you do want to do a flash deal, or you do want to do anything, you want to announce a new product, if people sign up to that flash notification, whenever you send that, it instantly sends it to their mobile as well. And if you connect it to the alert, it's going to instantly put it on your website. It may not want to be the news. You may want it to just have it on alerts. But when people go on there as well, and you can add it as a pop-up, if they allow you to send the push notification through, you're going to see a really, really big increase in people getting the message fast. And this goes to offers. I don't believe it's always the best idea to do discounts on your product, because that devalues your product, but it can work sometimes very, very well, because, for example, whenever you're doing an offer, you want to put urgency on the offer as well. You don't want to say that, they can come back in 1 month's time and buy. You want to put urgency on it, and maybe only put 2 to 3 days on the actual offer. So if you put 2 to 3 days on the actual offer, you send out a global email, a lot of people might not see that email for 2 or 3 days. So by that time, the offer's passed and people aren't going to buy. If you're using these push notifications and you're getting most of your clients or most of the people on the website signing up to the push notification, as soon as you send the alert or the offer out, it's going to instantly be on their phone. And if it's instantly be on their phone, you're going to find a lot more people are going to click through and actually buy from your offers. But make sure you only make it like 2, 3, maybe 4 days maximum on the offer. The longer you make the offer and you cut the urgency down, people aren't going to go through and buy straight away, because they know they've got certain time, they've got a week, for example, to go and buy. More than likely during that week, they're going to forget and never buy. Okay, so moving on, another very important thing to do as well is set up the emails for your basket. Everyone here has definitely gone through on a certain website, added stuff to the basket, and either forgot about it, their cards declined, they got distracted, so they had to move away, and then they forgot to buy on that website. And this is happening around about 30% more or less, depending on the market, on your website. So you're losing a potential 30% of business right there if you're not recontacting these people and getting in contact straight after. So you can do stuff, you can go through the analytics, you can set this up. So if anybody goes through and adds stuff to the basket and never actually goes through and paying, you can set up automatic emails. So for example, you can send that person an email after 12 hours, just reminding them that they've still got stuff in the basket, and then you can send a reminder again after 2 days, and then maybe one after 7 weeks as well. You can stagger it as it goes up, and you'd be surprised about how many people, or you'll just trigger their memory what they were doing, they'll go back and buy. And if you set this up automatically, you don't need to do anything. And by doing this as well, you're going to get so many more sales, because you're going to bring them people back to your website to actually buy. And as I said, it might have been the case that they got distracted, forgot, and then if you don't remind them, they're never going to remember you've just lost, a big sale. Whereas if you send them an email after 12 hours, you might click their brain again, they'll go back, use the card, and then you've made a big sale. So this is a very important thing to do. And also on cancellations as well. As soon as somebody cancels, get in contact with that person, find out why they canceled, find out what happened. And the more information that you get back from that, you might be able to turn the cancellation round, and you might be able to get them back as a customer as well. It's a lot easier to bring back a customer than to find a new customer and convince them. And at the end of the day, you're going to get more money from it and raise your revenue on your website from not gaining new clients, just with the existing ones. Another great thing to do on the website as well, and this is another plugin, another tool add-on that you can add to your website, is put them, for example, your top packages. You can put most recommended by clients, top seller, for example, and you'll be surprised about how many people actually go and take the recommendation of the website. I do it personally as well. If a website says this is the top seller and it's a good price, I normally go through and go to that product straight away and check it out, rather than checking the other ones out as well. So this is a very good thing that you can add to your website, the products that are selling the best, or the products that work the best or have the best outcome. The t-shirts the best, for example, or this course is getting the most reaction or the most positive feedback. Then tell your customers that. And by doing that as well, you're going to start selling them products that you want to sell more, rather than just having it spread across the whole website. And make sure as well, underneath these products, you have the testimonials. So you have reviews that are talking about that product in hand. And make sure these reviews are real. If they're all 5-star reviews saying this product is astonishing, it changed my life, people know that they're fake. They look clearly fake. So make sure you have correct reviews in there, and you are going to have you are going to have bad reviews. You're going to have 1-star reviews, 2-star reviews, 3-star reviews, but it makes it legit. If I go onto a website and the product's got 4.9 out of 5 stars, and it's got 10 reviews, and all of them are 5-star apart from a couple, and I can clearly see that they've been made, I'm going to lose confidence in that, because I know the reviews are fake instantly. And something very good, a tool to use, is called Endorsal. Endorsal.io is a very good company on there, and what it will do is it will let your clients review the product, and then it will send you the review, and then you can tag it and match it to each one of the products. So when somebody goes onto that page, underneath they will have all the reviews on there. It's a very good tool to use, and also as well, you can then pass that over for that person to review on Google or other websites as well. So to wrap up the webinar, the last piece of information I'm going to give everyone is make sure that on your website you have as many payment systems as possible on there. Many people will just use a certain payment system most of the time. It could be Apple Pay, it could be PayPal, instead of credit card. A lot of people may not want to use credit card. So make sure that you have all these different payment systems on there, because if you don't, personally as a company, we do this as well, is we use PayPal a lot rather than the banks. So if a company doesn't always have a PayPal account, we normally go for a company that does, because it makes it a lot easier for ourselves. So make sure you have all these different ones set up as well, because a lot of people are quite dedicated, or that they use one type of payment and they use it all the time. So make sure you have as many as possible. And there are many payment systems out there, for example, Molly, that give you the opportunity to use all of these different payment systems with just one company as well. And it's pretty cheap. So check that out, Molly. And another one that you can check out as well is actually called Klarna. So Klarna is a pay now or buy now, pay later. And it's nothing to do with so if you set it up with your website and somebody wants to buy a product, you get the money, but then the client has to pay the company back with a little bit of interest. Depending on the industry that you're in, it can work quite well, and it's a loan. It does work very, very well in the clothing industry because a lot of people will buy clothes and then pay them off over a 3-month period, and you get the money. Obviously, they're going to take a percentage of the sale, but it's exactly the same as you would with PayPal or any other payment system. So as I said, Klarna, Klarna, is a very good company to add to your website. It's also going to give you more sales because people are going to buy due to the fact they can spread their payments. So yeah, that's the end of the webinar today. Obviously, I've not included everything that you can do to your websites to increase sales and also bookings. These are just some of the things that we use and also some of the things that our customers have told us as well. Some people as well, which can be debatable as well, would say money off guarantee and also trials on the website. We personally don't like doing this because normally whenever you put money back guarantee, whatever you do, there are always going to be many clients who use this against you to make sure that they get their money back. And there are a lot of people out there who would just go from website to website using these money back guarantee and then claiming and getting their money back. And the same with trials as well. Be very careful with trials. If it doesn't cost you any money to set up the trial and it doesn't take you any work time to actually set it up, then it could be a good idea. But if you're spending time, effort, money on setting up a trial for a customer, you will get some customers from that, but a large majority of the people who are actually using the trials are only using it to get free stuff. And a lot of them won't go through and buy in the long run. But again, it completely depends on your market. This may have worked for you. So if it has worked for you in terms of the trials, please leave a comment on the YouTube video and I'll get back to you. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching the 4th webinar with myself, Chris, and the agency. Hopefully everyone's still doing well out there with the coronavirus lockdown. If you have got any issues or any comments or any questions that you want to ask, please send an email to hi@theagency.io. I'll respond as fast as I can with any questions that you may have. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, and see you next week.